guys, thanks for tuning in for another weekly wrap-up. A couple of the books that I'm going to talk about in this weekly wrap-up, I didn't get a chance to do a Let's Get Graphic for them. I've just been really busy with other things. I just started going back to school for the spring session, and, you know, life's been crazy, so let's get on with this weekly wrap-up. First, I started reading Inhumans, The Origin of the Inhumans, written by Stan Lee and drawn by Jack Kirby, I do believe is the artist. Now, I didn't realize at first that the Inhumans were that old, but I guess they're classic Marvel, as you can see. Like, this is a classic Fantastic Four. And I guess the Inhumans, like Medusa and all that, she started out as a villain. She was in a group called the Fearsome Foursome or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not really into classic Marvel, like when they first, their hero age, like when they first started making heroes. I wasn't too crazy over this. I really don't remember if I rated this 2 or if I gave this 3 stars on Goodreads, but it was just okay. I'm going to admit that it wasn't my thing, but I know a lot of people are into classic Marvel, so if that's your thing, you know, feel free to check it out, but I just wasn't feeling that book. After that, I decided to read Legion of Superheroes, The Beginning of Tomorrow. I've never read any Legion of Superheroes. This is my first ever being introduced to them. And I have to say, this was something, I wanted the new 52 Legion of Superheroes, not the old stuff. But I figured since all they had was the old stuff, I would check that out. And this one I did rate 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I just thought the dialogue was kind of boring. It's set in the future, and it was just, it didn't really seem to have like a real plot. It was just kind of blah, you know. And plus, I thought the costumes were really generic, along with the superheroes too. I thought they were really generic. So I just really was another book I just wasn't feeling it. After that, I picked up the new 52, Teen Titans Death of the Family. This is Teen Titans Volume 3. Maybe a quarter of this is new material, and the last 3/4 of it was the Death in the Family stuff that I'd already read in that huge trade that was the Joker Death of the Family book. So, I have to admit, this cover is great. I really love this cover. That really made this whole book like great, but there's some of the inside. It really started out kind of slow, and they introduced Raven, who is one of the original Teen Titans. But they introduce her in a way where she's not really a part of the main story, so it's kind of wonky. But anyways, this one I rated 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It was okay, but it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And considering that most of this was a reprinted stuff from another volume I'd already read, I think that's why I thought it was just a 3. Annihilation Book 1. This has a myriad of different people from the Nova book, from Guardians of the Galaxy, and Thanos stars in this. Well, anyways, this book takes place in outer space, and Annihilus, who is this guy from the Negative Zone, he wants to destroy everything, like the universe or whatnot, so he's declared war on the universe. And of course, Thanos, he's had a mad-on for the universe. He's in love with death, and he wants to destroy everything too. So it's like everybody is trying to destroy the world. Now, I do have to say, I wasn't very impressed with the artwork. I thought the artwork was rather crude looking. There are a few sections, like there was one part of this book where it looked like it was drawn by a little kid. I don't know if I can pull that part for you, if I can manage to find it. But there were some really crudely drawn parts, and I just wasn't really too impressed with this. I mean, I like the Guardians of the Galaxy books that I've read so far, but this as a whole, I'm not really impressed with this story. I thought it was kind of blah, and I think I only rated this one maybe 3 out of 5 stars. It's just okay. And I think I have checked out book 2, and I do believe there's a 3rd volume. I don't think I'm going to read the 3rd volume unless book 2 really is really great. But yeah, this was just okay. Miss Marvel, War of the Marvels. I really enjoyed this book. If you're not familiar with who Miss Marvel is, this Miss Marvel is Carol Danvers. She is the original Miss Marvel, and this one is Moonstone, who was a Thunderbolt, which used to be a villain who became the new Miss Marvel in the Dark Avengers team of, like, Marvel's Avengers that Norman Osborn had created. But this has a lot of action in it, as you can see. The artwork was really nice looking. The cover's spectacular. And the story was interesting because there's a doppelganger, and I really don't know 100% what's behind that story, but maybe I should check out some other volumes to find out exactly what was going on. But like I said, I really enjoyed this story, and I rated this 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. If you have not checked it out, please do so. Really good book. Okay, and the last book for this weekly wrap-up is Secret Warriors, starring Nick Fury, the Agent of Nothing. If you have never heard of Nick Fury, he is the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., and of course, this is the original Nick Fury. Yes, he was a white guy. For those of you who are used to the Avengers film and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Black Nick Fury is the one that was created by Marvel Ultimates, and he's kind of been like their mainstay, Nick Fury. They still use this guy every once in a while, I think, but yeah. Well, anyways, this story is basically where S.H.I.E.L.D. has fallen apart and Hydra has been infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. for years. You know the storyline. If you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. last season, it was loosely based on this storyline, let's just say that. The artwork was, average artwork. It was just okay. I do have to say this was a lot more interesting than the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the way they portrayed that on the TV show, because this one, the Secret Warriors had powers, whereas the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were just regular people. So I did like that, but I still rated this only 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It was just okay. I mean, I don't understand why so many people rated this so highly. It was just kind of boring and blah for me. Like, it wasn't enough excitement. I think it jumped around a lot too much in the past, like Nick Fury's past, which I thought was very unnecessary for the story. They needed to focus on the current events, because I really don't think that the past, the run that he had with his squad, was really that important for the storyline. I just thought it was just too much, and I think that's why I didn't like this. But that is my weekly wrap-up. So questions, comments, of course, as always, if you've read any of these books. If you have any recommendations for me, let me know. And thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, later.